99% of the marketplace are just about getting by. Most businesses don't make any money. What are the 1% that are literally smashing it do differently to get ahead? That's what we're going to find out in this video. The economy is separated into 4 separate marketplaces. These are the ones that over years of being an entrepreneur that I've identified. See, you want to be in one of those 4 types of the marketplace. That marketplace is where you can charge what you think you're worth and actually make some profit. Let's look at the other 3 marketplaces. Marketplace number 1 is the scale economy. This is people like Amazon or big supermarkets. They're turning billions of dollars or billions of pounds to make millions. And that's very difficult for an entrepreneur to operate in this space. But lots of them try, they eventually get burned and they're out of the game because they haven't got the funding that Amazon or a big supermarket place has got. Usually they've got private equity and big pension funds and investors with huge amount of capital so they can compete on scale. So that's marketplace number 1, scale economy. Marketplace number 2 is where most people hang about. This is commoditized competition. And you'll know entrepreneurs and business owners that operate here. You might have an uncle or an auntie. They built a business over a long period of time, maybe 3 or 4 decades. Maybe they're a house builder and they've built a house a year and everything's okay. They eventually pay their mortgage off. Maybe they've got a holiday home in Spain and they've got a couple of nice cars, but they literally worked so many hours to achieve this so-called financial success. They've worked themselves to the bone. People respect them, but they have got what they've got because of years of hard work. What we want to do is work hard and smart to get our results in 10 years, not 3 or 4 decades. Marketplace number 3 is the luxury marketplace. Now, these guys are making serious profits. Think of your Rolexes, your Ferraris, your Chanel, your Louis Vuittons. But all of these brands usually drive the price up because of limited supply. You can't go and buy a new Rolex today. You can buy a second-hand one and pay a premium over it being new. Madness, same with Ferrari. Yes, you can go and buy Chanel and Louis Vuittons, but they still limit the supply. I even know they burn stock sometimes if they've got too much of it just to keep the price high. Madness, but people are prepared to do it. Now, the problem is for entrepreneurs and business owners to go and build a brand like Louis Vuitton, get yourself decades of experience. This is a long time to be able to get into a marketplace and compete on luxury. Time gives you power. People love paying for rare stuff, and usually history is one of the things that makes something rarity. So as entrepreneurs, we can't be operating in that place. That's why marketplace number 4 is the one I want to focus on. Look, gang, I just want to level with you. I think building a business is still very difficult. It's one of the hardest things any human being can take on. And the odds are absolutely stacked against you. The data doesn't lie. You roll the dice, and that's why I love entrepreneurs. I get it because I've been doing it for the last 20 years. You roll the dice in the chance of big success, and there is some calculated risk. It's not complete gambling, but there is risk. Over the last 20 years, I've personally guaranteed millions of pounds, put my house on the line and put an incredible amount of time in my business that really you're not remunerated for. And hopefully at the end, you build an investment. You go through the stage of being a solopreneur on a one-man band. You take an idea, you take it to fruition, you become an entrepreneur, you start building a team around you, and then you might pay yourself last, but eventually you might have a nice lifestyle from it. The next stage is you build an investment. You become what I call an investorpreneur, which means you built a commercially profitable enterprise that works without you in it. Now, to get through those 3 stages, to build that investment, what are you doing differently? Because most people don't do that. Only 1% of people have a real saleable asset. 99% of businesses are just naff. And I don't want you to have that. So the top 1% operate in this 4th marketplace. It's really the entrepreneur's economy. This is the place you want to be. Let's hop over on the flip chart and I'll show you. So let's look at the 4th marketplace, the one that gets to charge more money, the one that's around for a lot longer, the top 1%. It's the marketplace for the experienced and expert businesses. See, if you're an expert or you've got an experienced business, and really they go hand in hand, they are one and the same, you'll find that you're just going to be in the top 1%. You'll be ahead of the 99%, because the fourth economy, the expert experience economy, are the ones that charge more. How do they get to charge more? Well, they have certain traits. I want to go through those traits one by one now. They are higher barrier to entry, and this is the first stage. This is why I love buying this hotel. This hotel is a 55-bedroom hotel. It's in a location that's in the middle of a beautiful town. You can't just go and rebuild it. You can get the planning permission or the money to do it, or even find the land to do it. But the best way of explaining this, say you've got a business, it's in a castle, and your castle is your business. You want to put moats and defenses around your business to protect you against competition, because the competition is always trying to steal market share. But if you're higher barrier to entry, the competition thinks, well, it's really hard to get into that place. So if you've got a big castle with loads of defenses, the enemy thinks, I'll just go elsewhere. It's too hard to take the castle. You want to be doing that with your business. Put moats around your castle to protect your business. The best way of doing this is make your business as high barrier to entry as possible, so people think it's not possible to take your market share. When you do that, you can then charge more for your product or service. And when you charge more, you've got better margin, better gross profits, and you just enjoy running your business more. Now, one of the ways that you can make yourself high barrier to entry is to be regulated, like an accountant, like a solicitor. I've got a chain of day nurseries. They're regulated by a government watchdog. Lots of people know that day nurseries and accountants and solicitors could be profitable businesses, but they don't want to get involved because it's regulated. Well, I love that. I love regulated businesses, because that's a moat around my castle that protects me, so we don't have to get involved in price erosion. If your accountant puts your prices up 10%, very rarely will people move, because they trust their accountant, they trust the regulation, and people will always pay for safety when it comes to their financials. So be regulated, you should be protected. Accreditations, similar to regulation, but different. When we look at accreditations, I like to think of brands as well. Say you want to open a coffee shop, but rather than just charging £2, would the marketplace pay an extra £1 if it had the Starbucks brand or the Costa brand above the door? That's the franchising model. It's been happening for years. Or maybe you've been told that you've got to pay for an accreditation because of terms of business. Let me give you an example. I want to buy a commercial property. It costs £2 million. I want to borrow that money from the bank. So I go over to the bank and I say, I'd like to buy this property. I've got the deposit, and they say, okay, we need to send a valuer around, and this valuer is going to charge £6,000 to value the property. He's there for 6 hours, but I need his accreditation to get the loan over the line. He's in the top 1% of the marketplace. To get my terms of business, I've got to pay that money, and I can't negotiate because the bank are putting that person in place, and therefore they're in the top 1%. But qualifications also help. If you're a doctor, a dentist, those accreditations and qualifications make people pay more money because they want your expertise and they like that you've got those letters after your name. Limited supply. Now, this is an idea that we could take from the luxury marketplace. Remember I told you that, them big brands like Chanel and Burberry will just burn stock. So there's limited supply of their stock to keep the marketplace high so that there's no discounting. They'll never do 50% off or buy one, get one free. They can't do that. They want to protect their brand value, and they do this mainly through limited supply. Front row seats to go and see the latest big pop star. If you want to sit in the front row, there's limited supply. You will pay a premium for it. People want to buy when they can't buy. So creating limited supply is a really smart thing to do. Now, entrepreneurs and business owners are on the grasp for turnover. They'll do whatever they can to get cash flow into their business. So they usually just create more and more supply. Maybe the smart thing to do is limit your supply and drive the price up. Unique locations. Unique locations just allow you to charge more, put you in the top 1%, especially if they're in desired locations or once in a lifetime. Maybe you're going on some fancy holiday and you're staying in the Maldives in the best hotel. You might only do it once in a lifetime, so you're prepared to pay a premium and actually boast about paying it. That's one of the reasons that I bought a 100-year-old ice cream parlor, the Rossi Ice Cream Parlor. No neighbors, overlooking the sea, can't be built next to, can't be built above. All of that gives me uniqueness. It's the best location to sell ice cream, I think, in the southeast, and that gives me power to be able to charge more. If I wanted to put my prices up 10%, I could. and I wouldn't lose any customers. And that gives me real competitive advantage. The expert experience business marketplace relies on testimonials to drive their word of mouth business. See, word of mouth gets you so far, but what you want to do is become Google famous. So someone types in your business. If you're looking good on Google, that's fantastic. So testimonials, being Google famous, helps drive up people's risk reversal, because when people are looking to spend money with a product or service, naturally, back of mind, they're thinking, well, what's the risk if this doesn't go well? If you're Google famous and you've got loads of testimonials around your business, people are reversed on the risk and more likely to give you the money, and actually would be happier to pay more money for the ones that have the best testimonials. It's just the way the marketplace works. Let's look at authority now as the next trait of the top 1%. When you've got authority, whether that's for the business or the founder of the business, this can put you in that 1% that can charge more. How do you get authority or influence? You build up content, maybe a personal brand. One of the best things you can do is write books or go on TV. This authority really can drive the price that you charge for your products and services. My books have opened so many doors. People go and book a speaker to speak at a conference because I wrote 4 books. I make all this content on YouTube. People go and check all this stuff out and they think, well, James has got authority in the business training space. We're prepared to pay a premium for him to come and speak at our seminar. And it's worked like gangbusters. We've got to mention brand value. If you think a pair of trainers is a highly commoditized product, but put the Nike logo on it and that £20 pair of trainers is now worth £150. And they probably cost the same amount to make as the £20 pair that you might buy from your local supermarket. Brand value is something people are prepared to pay for. It's the way human beings work. It's why luxury brands and any brands work. Another example of me buying the Rossi Ice Cream brand. I bought that because in the location of where I live, it was 100 years old. People knew the brand instantly because of that century-old history, and I bought into that because I can then put the Rossi logo onto other things, therefore creating brand value straight away. I've started Rossi Coffee and Rossi Sweets and Rossi Bakery. So you might not be able to start your own brand because it takes a long time to do, but you could go and buy another company that's got good brand value and use that brand value to drive your prices up because people like doing that. Here's another little tip for you. Quality trumps every single time. What is the best shop in Great Britain? What's the best shop in London? Have a little think about what that might be. Now, here's a big guess. I think you're probably thinking Harrods. Harrods has been around for centuries. It's known for brilliant experience. It's known for being the expert. There's only one of them, so it's in limited supply. It's got an amazing, unique location that's highly desirable. All of those things that put them in this expert experience economy. People love Harrods. And it's been around for so long and it charges a little bit more than everyone else, so it's protected against price erosion. Let's think about another department store that's cheap, like Woolworths. Will Woolworths be around in 100 years? Oh dear. And this is what I try and think about when building my businesses. How can I be as high a barrier to entry as possible? What moats am I building around my business? How can I protect my company against price erosion? And I think actual good quality thinking time is the first stage of getting that over the line. I even wrote a book about it called The Experience Business. It's a great book that gives all these details that I've gone through in this video in more detail. You can listen to it on audio or actually read it. Why don't you check it out? There's a link in the video description. If you've got any more suggestions, anything you think I've missed, hit it in the comments below. Please like and subscribe to this video. It helps more than you know. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.